Recognized for your questions.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Portman, for holding this hearing. And I especially want to thank Ms. Young for your willingness to continue your service at the Office of Management and Budget, and Ms. Coloretti for your willingness to serve as Deputy Director of the Office of Management and Budget. Ms. Young, let me start with a question to you. I want to express my appreciation to you and your staff for working with me on my bipartisan bill with Senator Braun, which seeks to identify wasteful programs in order to streamline government operations and save taxpayer dollars. Do you commit to continuing to work with me on this bill and on finding ways to better identify wasteful federal spending and work to eliminate it?
I do, and thank you for your work on this issue.
Thank you. Ms. Coloretti, the Internal Revenue Service operates a 62-year-old tax processing mainframe that no longer supports IRS's mission to process tax documents and refunds in the timely and cost-effective way that taxpayers expect. In fact, I've heard from many Granite Staters who are still waiting to receive their tax refunds from 2019 and 2020. And last week I sent a letter to IRS Commissioner Charles Rettig urging him to swiftly address the current backlog of millions of unprocessed tax returns. Drawing on your experience as the former acting chief financial officer for the Department of Treasury, if confirmed, how will you work with IRS to prioritize investments in technology and expedite its plans to modernize its old and obsolete tax processing mainframe to better serve taxpayers?
Senator, thank you for that question. I appreciate your leadership on this issue and just the opportunity to talk about this issue a little bit. I do have experience working with, inside of the Treasury Department, working with the IRS on modernizing their technology. I know that it is decades old and out of date. They did do a big push to try to move people to become more paperless, and that was supposed to help with this time of how long it takes to get your refund and how long it takes to get your tax forms processed. But certainly, if confirmed, I would look forward to coordinating even more with Treasury and the IRS to prioritize their technology and address some of these really difficult problems. And I also look forward to hearing more from you about any ideas that you might have to address this.
Well, thank you. I will tell you that it is probably the single largest constituent service category that we have right now, if not the second largest. It's in the top two. And it's really, really frustrating for people, of course, as they're planning. They know how much refund they're supposed to get, for instance, and they're spending hours online trying to reach somebody at the IRS to get clarity. So I really would look forward to working on this with you because I think it's a really urgent issue for the American people. Ms. Young, I want to kind of continue on this theme of customer service because the federal government consistently ranks among the lowest in terms of customer experience across major industries, according to the American Consumer Satisfaction Index. The IRS tax return backlog that we just discussed is a good example of why Americans are frustrated with government services. That's why I partnered with Senator Langford to introduce the Federal Agency Customer Experience Act to gain better insight into customer interactions with the government in order to improve customer experience overall. In addition, as Senator Peters referenced, in December, President Biden signed an executive order directing agencies across the government to improve customer service. How is OMB working with agencies to improve customer experience overall? And in particular, how can the Office of Management and Budget help agencies prioritize technology modernization as a way to meet their customer service goals?
Senator Hassan, this is one of the things I'm most proud of over my last 10 months. That customer service executive order was pushed directly from OMB as one of the things we should be prioritizing. Many of these issues you point out can find the source of problem right back to legacy IT problems. So thank you and Senator Langford for your work on this, and we've tried to carry this on through this executive order. But we have designated 35 high-impact service providers that are key to service issues in the federal government as part of the EO. And we push agencies to really give us specifics on things that are accomplishable. If you look at the EO, the first thing I looked at was we are typically very lofty in our aspirations. There are specific things we expect them to deliver on. There are many things that the American people deserve a tax system, you're absolutely right, where they have reliable service. We're used to Amazons now in the private sector, so this disconnect is getting even more wide when you go from government sites to private sector sites. So I look forward to continuing to partner with you. The customer service EO is a good first step, but we have a lot of work to do, including working with you and others on legislation on this issue.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to follow up a little bit on the issue of the Technology Modernization Fund, just really looking for an update. Senator Peters asked you about it, but last Congress, we allocated $1 billion to the Modernization Fund as part of the American Rescue Plan. In September, the Technology Modernization Fund Board awarded $311 million across 7 new projects. However, to date, none of these projects have received initial funds to begin this critical work, and the board needs to move forward on announcements for additional projects. So can you update us on when we can expect these projects to receive their initial funds, and when can we expect additional awards for the Technology Modernization Fund to be announced?
Thank you, Senator Hassan. You know, it's always a balance, and I talked about that with the chairman, moving fast versus getting it right. We certainly expect the announced awards to receive obligated funding in short order. I don't want to give a specific date, but I'll get back to you. So those decisions have been made. It is literally just the processing, and we will keep you up to date, but that should not be a long amount of time. The rest, the board is meeting. As I talked about earlier, we're also looking at relaxing some of the repayment given the strain on agency budgets. So we're trying to move fast, but with, you know, this, we have to get it right, or you all will not trust us with those resources in the future. So we will get back to you on how quickly we can press the button on the 311, but that should be a short amount of time.
Well, I appreciate that. I know I'm out of time, but I just going to also offer to please keep in communication with us if there are things that the agencies need in order for them to dig down and really do the planning for modernization that is such a critical piece of this. Please reach out to us, because at the end of the day, if we can't modernize our legacy IT, it's a customer service issue. To be clear, it's a national security issue as well.
And I know you're out of time, but one of the things we're finding is we do have to do a lot of technical assistance with these projects to get them to a place to receive funding.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hassan. Senator Carper, you're recognized for your questions. You're on mute, Senator.